Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Pan Kid, a promising girl, Pan Kid, and this is prior to her ECA. Don't have my World Tournament announcer medals yet, but I wanted to do another World Tournament unit because I like World Tournament units. And I wanted to see how good she is pre-EZA, because she was pretty fun pre-EZA if I remember correctly. And I did indeed remember correctly. She is basically, to cut a long story short, an evasion tank. Even prior to her EZA, that was her role. She has attack and defense, evasion pretty high, 50%, attack and defense 150%. After evading attack, an additional 100% attack and defense for 5 turns. Guaranteed crits in the first turn, and then loses 50% attack after she's been hit. You want to build her full evasion, so literally everything in evasion equipment, evasion nodes, just everything, and then you can give her additional with what's left over. She is a super AGL type lead of 90%, raises attack for 1 turn, seals the enemy's super, and she has All in the Family, Infighter, Sand Lineage, Battlefield Diva, Supreme Power, World Tournament Reborn, and Sharing the Limit. She's not on a lot of categories. Not on a lot of categories, but not on a lot of categories, if that makes sense. On the Brandon Child, Earthbird Fighters, Goku's Family, Hybrid Sands, Marshmallow Saga, Tournament Participants, World Tournament Youth are her categories, which is pretty good. And yeah, that kind of covers everything about her. Now, obviously, with World Tournament units, their biggest shame is their stats. If you look at Pan's stats at a rainbow level, they're not very high. That is just the unfortunate thing about these units. So when you look at Pan, first thing you'll notice is just the stats aren't really there. She maxes out about 300k defense. She also has around about 2.6 million in terms of damage, and overall she is pretty fun. Her EZA is much better, I will say, just because of the evasion rate, the raw stats boosts, the additional things that it does give her, which I think is really, really, really good. But ultimately, what Pan could have benefited from as a unit, I think, would have been to have some kind of support functionality. She doesn't have an EZA, she doesn't have a prior to EZA. I think that's the only thing really letting her down. Evasion tanks are really fun until they're not. That's kind of how they work. They're all in, all out kind of unit. You either have her dodge everything and she looks amazing, or she fails to dodge things and she looks objectively terrible. Because that's what evasion tanks do. They either dodge the world, you take no damage and you think they're the best unit ever, or they fail terribly, or just get hit once and you take a big chunk of damage and you start to really think why they're a fraud. Overall, she's good. I don't think she is in any way bad. Her EZA definitely looks very good. Prior to EZA, I do think she's still pretty fun. This is her in the Fighting Legend Freezer event, and she did more than fine as a first and second start unit pretty much the whole way, right up until almost the end. Yes, Fighting Legend Freezer's not the hardest event in the world, but the point is that with evasion, with the way it is, she can get pretty far. If you look at her post EZA, she got 70%, here she's got 50%, and with her fully built hidden potential system sitting, let's say, at 20 plus evasion, you can then kind of almost assume that she has an effective 61-ish% evasion rate, which is pretty good. Like I say, it's really not that bad. So I think, like, overall there's a lot that really works nicely for her. One thing I do like a lot about her is her sealing. So sealing super attacks is something that's very useful. It's very useful across lots of content, but especially in red zones, especially in Ultimate Clash, there is a lot of value with sealing. Like, it's just a very valuable functionality to have. So when you see something like that on a unit like this, she could be really good. I think she's probably a unit that's best suited for your Ultimate Clash style contents. She's got the evasion, which is usually quite useful. She's got a lot of mechanics that tend to be useful in that format of content, and I think overall that makes her a interesting choice. I think it makes her pretty cool. When you look at other units, for example, they don't necessarily have the tools that make them useful. She, I think, has some very useful tools that do tend to give her a good functionality and a good kind of starting point for all those kinds of different bits of content. So I do think she's good. I wish she just had a little bit of support just to be, you know, kind of a little bit better. Even if it was something like, oh, when she evades, she gives the rest of the rotation evasion, or on her super, she boosts the rest of the rotation by even 10%, 15%. Like, these small things matter a lot and would have made her a really fun, interesting option to use instead of someone else. But right now, the way she is, I think she's pretty fun, albeit maybe not, so insane, but a really cool, interesting free-to-play unit, semi-free-to-play unit. There's still a bit of RNG involved, but pretty good unit that you can get that could be a nice, solid-ish evasion tank for your Ultimate Clash levels of content. And I think that, realistically speaks to where she's at. She is a little bit RNG-centric because of the evasion and everything, but still, I think you'll have a pretty good time overall. But yeah, that's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye.